Today's lesson is to give you an overview of the commercial solar market and to also give you some of the basic information on how to get started in commercial solar. The most important part of selling commercial solar is educating the client and nurturing that relationship. So let's get started. So today we'll be talking about how solar works, what the market looks like for commercial solar, and why now is the perfect time to get involved. And we'll also talk about some of the hot solar states, and we'll discuss what's going to make a great commercial solar customer. So before we dig in too deep into commercial solar sales, I want to give you a quick review of just how solar works. We feel it's a good practice to have this basic knowledge before jumping into big sales talks. So you'll see on this graphic here that first the sunlight obviously falls on the solar panel, which then converts the energy from the sun into DC energy, which is direct current energy. That energy is then sent to the inverter, which is then converted into AC energy or alternating current energy. The meter that's connected to the solar system is monitoring this energy. And what happens is when the solar energy system produces more electricity than is needed during peak sun hours, that excess electricity is sent to the utility company. And so what's kind of cool when this happens is you're going to see the meter moving backward. You'll want to note that solar produces really high quality energy that reduces the chance of power fluctuations. During the nighttime and at times where demand is exceeding solar production, power from the utility is at that point utilized. And you can see this illustrated here. So let's take a look at what the market looks like for commercial solar. Over the last few years, commercial solar has actually stagnated, but they're anticipating it to grow over the next several years. As you can see here in the graph on the left, non-residential PV is marked by the middle blue color. They're expecting commercial solar to triple by 2021. So you might be asking, well, why has it stagnated over these last few years? Well, without standardization in the solar industry, and in addition to the complexities just with selling commercial solar, there hasn't been a scalable solution to bring commercial solar solutions to the masses. Until now. Now is the best time to get involved in selling solar to your commercial and industrial clients. And now more than ever, business owners are seeing that investing in solar is a smart financial decision for their property and for their business. The graph on the right represents the different types of solar projects installed by percentage. You'll notice again the non-residential is represented by the dark blue color, which is in the middle of the graph. Let's take a look at where most of the solar installations are happening across the country. You could call these hot solar markets where the majority of the installations are happening, and this graph represents 2014. And these markets typically are where the utility rates have been higher, or there may have been financing vehicles available specifically for solar projects in these areas. You'll notice that the majority are out west in states like California and Arizona and all throughout the Northeast. But the good news is that with your help, it won't be long before every single state on this map is highlighted. To drill down even further into the solar installations by state, I want to show you this table that represents all commercial solar installations in 2015. They're sorted by capacity, and you'll notice California is at the top. I have to say, though, it's encouraging to see states like North Carolina and Ohio represented in this chart, in addition to the western and northeastern states. There's quite the pivotal upward trend happening right now in the solar industry with the growth of commercial solar installations. You have a chance to be a part of the crowd that really transforms the solar industry just by selling in your home state using brand new design and financing options that we now have available that weren't available in years past. So what makes these states hot for solar? Selling commercial solar can be more complex, given that every commercial client can have varying utility costs, even within the same geographic footprint. But a few of the big reasons that the states on the previous slide have been leaders in commercial solar installs are because they have high utility costs, and high utility costs would be considered anything 10 cents per kilowatt hour and above. Next, net metering policies, which if you're not familiar with net metering, it's a billing mechanism that essentially allows customers who generate their own electricity from solar power to feed electricity that they don't use back to the grid. Many states have passed net metering laws, and in other states, some utilities offer net metering programs voluntarily or perhaps as a result of a regulatory decision. So the differences between the state's legislation and implementation can mean that the benefits of net metering can vary widely for solar customers in different parts of the country. And finally, one of the more recent innovations in the solar industry are commercial PACE programs. And PACE stands for Property Assessed Clean Energy. So a brief overview about PACE is that their programs consist of municipalities and counties who work together with private sector lenders to provide 100% financing for qualified solar projects, which is then paid back through an annual assessment on the business owner's tax bill. You can check out their website. You can visit www.pacenation.us to dig a little bit deeper into those details. So why sell commercial solar? Well, in case you missed it, I mentioned this briefly on a previous slide, but our team stays on top of industry trends. And if you take a look at this graph, taken from a report written by GTM Research, it stated that the U.S. commercial solar market is expected to rebound and nearly triple in size. Honestly, there's really no better time than right now to be selling commercial solar. So what should you look for in a potential commercial solar customer? Obviously, we want to make solar an appealing business investment for them. And what business owner isn't looking to save money or save on energy costs? Also, if your customer's already looking for an energy solution, then you're in luck. These are the ideal customers because they're already seeking out energy solutions. Also, make sure that you seek out the landlord or the owner or occupier of the property. You're just more likely to maximize your time with the customer when you're able to talk directly to the decision maker. Are they fiscally healthy and in good standing? You know, this is important to know, especially if they're looking to finance their project. Obviously, you want to make your decision about solar a natural one. So if they're talking about energy efficiency upgrades they're planning to do for their facility, or if you're selling a complementary product, it should make the discussion about solar much easier and much less like a sales pitch. Lastly, I wanted to go over the location of what to look for in a location of a property. And you also want to take a look at the condition of the property itself. Do they have a good roof? Has it been installed in the last 5 to 7 years, or are they looking to upgrade to a more energy efficient roof? You also kind of want to take a look at the shading around the property. So, you know, we never want to suggest cutting down trees, and sometimes there's trees on an adjacent property that the customer doesn't own. Also, have a conversation with them about their roof. You probably won't have an opportunity to get up onto the roof, so have a discussion with them about it. Are there a lot of obstructions on the roof, like air conditioning units? Are there skylights? Any other types of equipment, generators, anything like that? You'll also want to make sure that there's unobstructed sun access to the south. Solar panel efficiency is maximized when they face due south, so it's important to make sure that there's enough southern exposure at the property. And if the roof is not an option, how about land? Do they own a large amount of land where potentially they would be interested in installing a ground mount solar project? We in the past have built some beautiful ground mount systems for commercial clients over the years, And the customers have loved how it's become a conversation starter among those who visit their property. It's also a great marketing tactic for businesses who want to show their efforts in protecting the environment. So now I want to move into some examples of commercial facilities that would be good to identify as potential solar customers. Commercial agriculture is a great option. Small businesses in your local community are also great candidates to reach out to. You'll also want to check out retail properties, manufacturing facilities, data centers, distribution centers and warehouses, maybe convention centers, and storage facilities, specifically storage facilities that offer climate control. Those are great candidates for solar. Now, this list is just a small sampling of types of properties to look for. One word of caution is to avoid chain stores unless they are small, locally owned chains. Just keep in mind that you're going to need to speak to and present proposals directly to a decision maker in order to be successful in selling a commercial solar project. Now that we've reviewed the types of customers that you should talk to, I want to review a few of the project designs that we can build for your commercial clients. There are roof mount options, which depending on the style of the roof can be either ballasted or flush mount. The example that we have shown here is actually a ballasted system. We also have ground mount options, which many customers like simply because it draws attention to their business. And actually, one of our customers who installed a system, he actually was looking to also become an installer. And so he built his system as a ground mount so that he could show his potential customers his project and what he could do for them. So it was a great marketing strategy for him and his business. Carports are also a really great design feature, especially if they have very large parking lots. And finally, I'd like to give you a little background about who we are. The Solar Site Design team has been selling commercial and industrial solar projects since 2005. We've been in the field talking to customers, and we found it extremely cumbersome to fumble with paperwork, take pictures with the digital camera, and then we'd have to head back to the office to transfer our notes into an email, then download the pictures to our computer and send them in a zip file, write notes about the project to send to our engineers who will then help us build the proposals. It was just extremely time consuming. Once we would do all of that, then we would find out that we needed more information. So we had to drive back out to the site, collect more information. Oh, it was extremely time consuming. Remember the frustration of emails not going through because of too many attachments? Yeah, I mean, that happened to us a lot. And we spent so much time trying to figure out workarounds. So once smartphones became the backbone of how we communicated, we decided, you know what? It would be so much easier if I just had an app with an online platform where I could capture all of the information that we needed for this project. And so that's what we did. It has saved us hours in the field, and our engineers and installers love it because all of the project data is in one place. Tracking down data for projects can be extremely time-consuming and expensive, and we've solved that by using our platform to collect everything that's needed all at once. No more multiple job site visits just to capture a picture of the meter. Since building our software, we've presented at Solar Power International's Startup Alley, which is the largest trade show in North America. We've also presented at the Worldwide Clean Tech Forum in San Francisco, which is where clean tech innovators around the world, they meet and discuss all the up-and-coming technologies for the clean energy sector. And most recently, we were awarded the U.S. Department of Energy's Sunshot Catalyst Award for helping to drive down the soft costs of the solar industry. With winning the U.S. Department of Energy's Sunshot Catalyst Award, we have pledged to drive down the cost of solar. So rest assured that through our platform, your customers will get the best price from the best installers in the nation. We have been part of the solar community for well over a decade and have pledged to help solar installations scale all across the country. The solar industry needs people just like you to help sell and build more solar projects to provide a cleaner energy future for our children and our grandchildren, all while providing for you and your families. We are here to help educate you and teach you how to be successful in selling commercial solar. So with that, I appreciate you and thank you for listening and learning about commercial solar, and we are so excited to be working with you.